Nigerian army refutes killing of people in Isheri Olofin.
This National Assembly will be a National Assembly that will continue to work for Nigerians for the benefit of those who voted for us.
President of the Senate returns from Holy Pilgrimage, restates National Assembly's commitment to collaborating with the executive in enacting pro-people legislations.
Some of them are offering you 100% return of your money in 1 month. I mean, even armed robbery couldn't be as lucrative as Ponzi scheme are positive returns.
3 years after Nigerians lost 18 billion naira to MMM scam, the Ponzi schemes are on the rise again. Plus, Nigeria's D-Tigresses cruise into semi-finals of the Women's Afrobasket Championship in Dakar. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stoba in Abuja. Dr. Oguyemi will be joining us from Lagos, while Musa Abubakar is in Sokoto. Later on, Bright Ebucho will join us from our Enugu Center. The Nigerian Army has denied the report in some quarters stating that its troops of the 9th Brigade on patrol were involved in the killing of 3 people in Isheri Olofin community of Koshofel local government area of Lagos State. A statement by the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, 9th Brigade, Major Clement Abaide, says the Army patrol team only responded to a distress call and averted a clash among Isheri boys cult group, allegedly terrorizing the community. The Army says there was no fire exchange between the troops and the alleged cult group throughout the period of the troops' intervention, and no one was killed as alleged in a misleading report, but rather 1 soldier was injured by the cultists. Peace has since been restored to the affected area, and members of the public are requested to disregard the news indicating the so-called killing of 3 people in the area, which the Army says is baseless and fake. An Operation Wellstroke says it has recovered not less than 2,000 rustled cows and arrested 10 suspects for banditry, kidnapping and arms manufacturing. Commander of the operation, Major General Adeyemi Yakini, stated that the suspects were picked up in Benue and Nasarawa states. Charles Abba reports.
Operation Wellstroke has continued to fight armed banditry, kidnapping and other criminal activities in Benue, Nasarawa and Taraba states to instill peace and tranquility. Commander of Operation Wellstroke, Major General Adeyemi Yakini, explained that the latest operation embarked upon by the command led to the clampdown of the suspected armed bandits and kidnappers from Benue and Nasarawa states.
Enough is enough. We will not tolerate banditry. We will not tolerate kidnapping. We will not tolerate other acts of extortion and criminalities in the Benue State in particular, but not just Benue State, but also Nasarawa and Taraba State.
The command recovered 1 AK-47 and 1 self-operational rifle, 3 locally made pistols, 4 locally made guns and ammunition. Major General Yakini, who attributed the success of the operation to information from members of the public, assured the people of the command's determination to reduce crime to its barest minimum. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And a 60-bed ultra-modern reference hospital constructed by the Nigerian Air Force to provide tertiary health care for its personnel and their families, as well as the host community, has been inaugurated in Daura, Katsina State. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, challenged the service to ensure that the facility serves as a center for medical research towards finding solutions to public health concerns in the country. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
The Nigerian Air Force Reference Hospital Daura is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, including, amongst others, 2 operating theaters, intensive care unit, as well as modern diagnostic life support and surgical equipment ideal for the care of critically ill patients and soldiers wounded in the battlefields. President Muhammadu Buhari applauded the Chief of the Air Staff for the laudable project, which he said will contribute significantly to the health and well-being of the people of Daura across Katsina and the neighboring states. The project, the president said, is in furtherance of the remarkable strides by the Nigerian Air Force to reposition itself not only into a professional and disciplined force, but also live up to its social responsibility to the citizens.
We are indeed most grateful to the Chief of Air Staff for finding Daura worthy of this gesture. I want to assure you of our support and commitment in ensuring that the hospital becomes fully functional and accessible to all Nigerians.
President Buhari is delighted that the facility is most importantly poised to provide the much-needed trauma care for personnel on active duty in various theaters of operation. This, he said, will go a long way towards boosting their morale in the course of service to the country.
I urge you to maintain the highest standard and quality of services the military is known for in attending to the patients and the host community.
Indeed, Your Excellency deserves to be appreciated for the facilitation of an unprecedented infrastructural development, equipment induction, platforms acquisition, and logistic provisions in support of the armed forces of Nigeria.
Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said the NAF Reference Hospital will complement the services of existing government health institutions in providing medical care to those in need and supporting national health care delivery.
May I assure His Excellency that the Nigerian Air Force will remain resolute in ensuring the return of normalcy to troubled areas across the country, working hand in hand with other sister services.
At the event attended by the governors of Katsina, Kano and Zamfara states, as well as all the service chiefs, Air Marshal Abubakar appreciated President Buhari for his steadfastness at ensuring that the Nigerian Air Force is better positioned to fulfill its statutory responsibilities. From Daura, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And there's still more health news as improved service delivery is coming to the Nasarawa State Dalhatu Araf Specialist Hospital, Lafia, as government is set to provide modern hospital equipment and facilities. Governor Abdullahi Sule says the initiative is for efficient service delivery. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Governor Abdullahi Sule was accompanied by the State Deputy Governor Dr. Emmanuel Akabe and other top functionaries of government. Some of the areas earmarked for the purchase of modern hospital equipment and replacement of obsolete facilities include patient wards, radiology department, and finishing touches to some other infrastructure.
I discovered that some of the facilities, especially inside the wards, are in very bad shape. Again, locally, we have some resources on site. And we have given the go-ahead now to ensure that we fix all those broken down facilities.
Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Dr. Ikrama Hassan, says the expected improvement will make the hospital functional.
The hospital has just had expansion. We have a new complex where we have additional wards, clinics, admin block, and a new radiology building. But the old structure of the hospital also requires some renovation. And so that is one of the major reasons why His Excellency came to see what are our needs and what needs to be done.
In Lafia, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
The federal government is working on necessary regulations to further encourage public-private partnership and power distribution in Nigeria. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the official commissioning of the new Abeokuta 260 megawatts substation in Abeokuta. Adeni Taiwo reports.
An increasing human population that requires steady energy supply for both domestic and industrial needs, Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, and its environs require much more than what the lower circuit 2x40 MVA 33 kVA from Otapa substation currently offers. For the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, taking delivery of the new 2x60 MVA 33 kVA substation built under the NIPP scheme is a necessary reinforcement to improve power supply to Abeokuta consumers. Professor Oshimbajo highlights the need for existing distribution companies to inject more resources, while government works on creating proper framework for more private energy distributors to open up the market. As a beneficiary of the power project, Ogun State and indeed other states in the country can assist in solving the electricity challenge if there are legal framework spelling out roles of states and local governments in the power sector.
We must all realize that this project will not only improve the economic activities of their communities and environs, but go a long way in the successful implementation of our joint agenda of building our future together.
Stakeholders in the sector and traditional rulers in Ogun State say the new power station holds a lot of potentials for socio-economic development in the area. Nigeria currently has about 8,342 megawatt generated capacity with less than 4,000 megawatts distributed. In Abeokuta, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
In democracies, the business of governance is the collective responsibility of all arms of government. Now, this explains the resolve of the 9th Senate to support the federal government through the enactment of laws that will further strengthen its workings. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, gave this assurance at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, when he returned from Holy Pilgrimage. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, was in Saudi Arabia for the Holy Pilgrimage. It was 10 days of prayers and supplication for the unity and progress of Nigeria. Upon his return at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in the early hours of Thursday, he re-emphasized the need for national unity, which was his major prayer point.
We prayed for our country to achieve optimum security, to have unity, to have stability, peace, and of course progress.
Senator Lawan seized the opportunity to reaffirm the commitment of the 9th Senate in making sure that Nigeria returns to January to December budget cycle for a more impactful fiscal policy.
It is our prayer and hope that this National Assembly will be a National Assembly that will continue to work for Nigerians for the benefit of those who voted for us. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to the executive side of government that we need to reverse the undesirable trend of the current budget cycle in Nigeria.
He explained that with the recent constitution of parliamentary committees, the 9th National Assembly is now more prepared to work for Nigerians. In Abuja, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari is urging state governments to take more proactive measures in securing the lives and property of their people. This, he said, is necessary towards complementing his administration's genuine efforts at tackling acts of criminality for peace and prosperity. The president stated this at an audience with the governors of Kano, Katsina and Zamfara states in Daura. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that President Buhari also inaugurated more road projects executed by the Masari administration.
Before the closed-door engagement with the governors, President Muhammadu Buhari interacted with the service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Abayomi Olonishakin. Details of their discussions were not made public, and efforts to hear from any of them were unsuccessful. At the meeting with the governors, the president harped on the need for sustained efforts at achieving peace and security, which he described as prerequisites for any meaningful development. His administration, he said, is committed towards protecting the lives of Nigerians and setting the country on the path of peace and prosperity, saying, however, that this can only be achieved if the governors key into the various national security initiatives. The governors who used the opportunity to brief the president on the security situation in their states and the way forward told newsmen that the meeting was fruitful.
Everybody in Nigeria is happy with what we are doing. Before, you cannot pass through Jibia, Kauranamuda road. Now we have opened the road. So what is the behind the success achieved so far? As a human being, first of all, you have to be trustworthy, you have to be direct, and don't deceive. So we engage these people and we engage them fairly, and they accepted all the offers we offered to them. As I told everybody, we did not give them money or anything. All the people they released to us is unconditional, without paying any ransom. and we see they even released foreign national from Korea without paying a single kobo. And before I came, he was there about 7 months under captivity. So Zamfara is calm now and is peaceful. So we thank God for that. So I brief him that now we have achieved a lot of success, and he promised me to do more about security in the state.
Kano is peaceful. Kano has been peaceful. I think it's one of the most peaceful states in the federation. So I also briefed him how we coordinated the security agencies in Kano and also how we involved the community participation, especially the new emirates that we created. They're actively involved in keeping peace and stability in the state.
So what did he tell you?
He is very grateful. He is happy with the situation, and he has given me every encouragement to continue maintaining peace and stability in Kano.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has defied the early morning downpour to inaugurate 2 more roads projects constructed by Katsina State government under the restoration agenda of the Masari administration. The roads were the 38-kilometer Sapke, the Naunai, Ruankaya road linking 20 agrarian communities in Dutsi and Mashi local government areas, as well as Fago, Kasayel, Kwasarawa, Jirdede, Koza road connecting 4 council areas of Katsina State.
Katsina is an agrarian state. We entirely depend on agriculture and our markets. So our intention is to open up farming communities, access to markets, so that the mobility and the cost of products will be affordable to the consumers as well as beneficial to the farmers.
The governor said 44 other road projects are at various stages of completion. From Katsina, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And time for a break now for some messages. The news continues shortly. Stay with us.
Follow! Kitty. Oh, baby. He doesn't want overripe things. Dudu by nature. Black is beautiful. Oh, talk to the hand. The baby is black. Ask her. Uche, quickly send me the baby video.
Okay, ma.
Yeah, he's playing. Oh, my goodness. He's loving it. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Bye.
Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites all ministers designated of the Civil Service of the Federation, Federal Permanent Secretaries and top government functionaries specifically invited to a 2-day induction retreat to be presided over by His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To the retreat earlier publicized has been rescheduled as follows. Date Monday 19th to Tuesday 20th August 2019. Time 9 a.m. daily. Venue State House Conference Center, Presidential Villa, Abuja. The objectives of the retreat include to build a strong platform for synergy and teamwork, to sensitize appointees on the status of implementation of policies, programs, and projects of the government from 2015 to date, acquaint the appointees on the roadmap for delivery of government priorities and next-level agenda. Deepen the understanding of participants and best practices in conducting government business. The swearing-in of all ministers designated by the President shall hold as follows. Date Wednesday, 21st August 2019. Time 11 a.m. Venue Federal Executive Council Chambers, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Attendance at both events is mandatory and strictly by invitation. Announcer Babatunde Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
This is to inform stakeholders that the federal government has constituted an administrative audit panel to make recommendations towards the resolution of identified management challenges at the African University of Science and Technology, AUST Abuja. The panel, which has already commenced sitting in Abuja, has 6 weeks within which to submit its report to government. Stakeholders and the public are hereby called upon to submit their memoranda in soft and hard copies to the Secretary, Malam Hamza Abdullahi, Director Establishment of Private Universities, National Universities Commission, 26 Aguiyi Street, Maitama, Abuja. Email habdullahi697@gmail.com within 2 weeks of this announcement. Secretary, Administrative Audit Panel on African University of Science and Technology, Abuja. Announcer.
Now introducing the new Mentos 2-Share Candy with 2 flavors in 1 pack.
Share a Mentos, make a friend. Stick together till the end. Share a Mentos, socialize. Share Mentos and be nice.
Mentos Candy. Crunchy outside, chewy inside.
Some fun. Who says no to Mentos?
The chairman of the Special Investigative Panel for the Recovery of Public Property, Okoye Obono Obla, has been suspended from office. A statement from the Federal Minister of Justice, signed by the Deputy Director of Public Affairs, James Odaudu, says President Muhammadu Buhari approved the suspension. The statement says the Solicitor General of the Federation, Dayo Akpata, has been asked to take over the affairs of the Special Investigative Panel immediately. Mr. Obono Obla's suspension shall subsist pending the conclusion of investigation by the ICPC for alleged falsification of records and financial impropriety made against him. Nigeria and Pakistan have worked out a new trade policy towards reviving textile industries in the country. Joshua Ujito reports that the policy is also to increase the volume of trade between the two nations.
Nigeria and Pakistan have for long enjoyed bilateral ties, especially in areas of military cooperation and recently counter-terrorism. Now, the two countries are working to improve their economies with a new trade policy that will see Pakistan supplying local textile industries with raw materials for production to support federal government's drive to promote made-in-Nigeria goods.
Nigerian policies of the President Buhari are that they don't want to encourage import of finished goods. So what we are going to focus on is to provide the raw materials so that the Nigerian textiles, they take off once again as they were in the previous decades.
A forum such as this to celebrate the 72nd independence anniversary of Pakistan has provided another platform for the two countries to renew commitment to implementation of the trade agreement.
Nigeria is always open to initiatives such as this. We acknowledge Pakistan's cooperation in international fora and hope to continue our shared support for one another.
Both countries were former British colonies and share many things in common. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
And the federal government has restated a commitment to job creation and youth empowerment through the Empower program. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the official flag-off of the Ogun State Job Portal in Abeokuta. Correspondent Lukman Adifeso reports.
The job portal, which plans to have a database of all unemployed youths in Ogun State, is part of efforts towards employment generation in the state. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, applauded the initiative and assured that the federal government will collaborate with Ogun State to realize its dream. He encouraged the youth to take advantage of the opportunity as well as exploit the potentials in agro-allied farming.
When we opened the portal for the MPOwer program, we had 12 million youths. We were able to employ only 500,000, half a million. And we are going to do an additional number so that in the end we'll be able to employ at least 1 million to start. And as we go on, we'll be able to engage in them. But what we are doing today with the agro-allied farming sectors will make you realize that being a farmer and an agro-allied industrialist in Nigeria is a very big deal.
The Ogun State Governor, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, remarked that the launch of the job portal is part of his promise to create jobs for the youths.
I'm very delighted to inform you that at the launch of the state job portal today, instant jobs will already be offered to some of the applicants. This is a further testimony that our administration will leave no stone unturned to work our top and engage our team youth for profitable employment. For me, I know that the multiplier effects of this will create new league of millionaires from the employment of talents.
20 local youths got automatic employment in the pilot scheme.
Now, barely 3 years after Nigerians reportedly lost 18 billion naira to the MMM scam, Ponzi schemes are again on the rise in the country. Discussing this on Good Morning Nigeria today, Nigerians were again cautioned to be wary of get-rich-quick schemes under any guise, while regulatory agencies were urged to increase their surveillance and enforcement of relevant laws. Ekemini Williams has more details.
It is widely held that Nigerians cannot forget in a hurry the MMM Ponzi scheme scam after the 2016 catastrophe in which thousands of people lost over 18 billion naira.
Some of them are offering you 100% return of your money in 1 month. I mean, even armed robbery couldn't be as lucrative as Ponzi scheme are positive returns.
There are therefore apprehensions over the resurface of another form of Ponzi scheme, loom money. This, many believe, will endanger the financial investment market and affect gullible Nigerians with a get-rich-quick mentality.
And when at that formative age, you believe in miracles. So process leaves you. So you begin at every point in time, when someone tells you something, adding with the fact that you also believe in miracles and you don't believe in process. So that miracle mindset will allow you invest in something that would give you that big break without a process.
For others, the way out include expanding the investment space and enhancing institutional capacity to monitor and enhance existing laws.
There has to be proper education, but more importantly, I keep emphasizing, we need to strengthen our regulatory framework.
When anybody calls you to invest money, check whether that person is registered by SEC.
There was also a call for the review of school curriculum to create awareness on the due process of wealth creation. Majority of viewers who contributed to the program through tweets condemned the resurgence of Ponzi schemes in the country. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
The National Youth Service Corps is working towards enhancing the productivity of its farms and garment factories to produce the quantity required by the scheme and even have surplus. Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General Shuaibu Ibrahim, stated this at a media chat with editors and bureau chiefs of media establishments in Abuja. Olayinka Uju reports that the Director General also noted that from 2019 Batch C, dates of birth will be on discharge certificates.
Latest data from the NYSC shows that since the establishment of the scheme 6 years ago, 4,644,804 youths have participated in the national call to service. This number excludes those exempted on age or other reasons for exclusion. Now, the 18th Director General of the NYSC is planning to consolidate on the gains of the scheme and is seeking media partnership to drive the entrepreneurial skills components being implemented in line with global dictates. This media parley is setting the tone for what and where the NYSC want to be.
We are working vigorously to ensure that our ventures, especially farms and garment factories, are more functional and able to produce reasonable quantities of products needed by the scheme.
It was not a one-way traffic, however, as media chiefs probe provisions of security and welfare of corps members, as well as the enrollment of unqualified persons for mobilization by some corps-producing institutions, age falsification, among other challenges.
Again, the issue of fake corps members, beyond arrest and prosecution, what measures do we take to prevent the entire fake situation?
NYC is not a regulatory body, but however the Act gave us the powers not to mobilize unqualified Nigerians. And I say the NYC under my watch will never mobilize any unqualified Nigerians because they are not doing Nigeria any good.
Other issues the NYC says it will deal with are presentation of fake medical papers for redeployment and relocation, which will now be treated strictly based on marital, health, and security grounds. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Yemi, has expressed a high level of satisfaction with activities of officers and men of the Corps during the Eid al-Kabir celebration, saying it was quite successful. The Corps Marshal said this at the strategy session with the Corps High Command on the last 4 months of the year campaign. Uyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Days after the Eid al-Kabir celebration, which saw most officers of the Federal Road Safety Corps at different points and locations, all in the bid to ensure safety on the highways, the Corps Marshal is setting the agenda and plans for Ember period that spans through September to December.
The technical session is to look at conducting another road safety impact assessment.
To tackle headlong is the imposition of speed limiting device in all commercial vehicles, which the Corps Marshal says will reduce overspeeding and accidents on Nigerian roads. The Corps Marshal was emphatic on the no going back on the September 2nd deadline given to tricycles and motorcycle riders to get their number plates, as these will go a long way in reducing crimes in the country.
From the word go, it's an act of lawlessness to put a motorcycle or tricycle on the highway without being registered. That is what we call road tax evasion. The law is very clear. What we are doing, ideally, we ought not to have even served any notice. We're supposed to go on full blast arrest, but again, looking at the present social, economics, and security situations in the country, we need to really reawaken the need for the road users to do what is expected.
The Corps Marshal reiterated the need for construction workers working along the highways and roads to comply with road signs erections. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
The private university system in Nigeria is better placed to bridge the gap in quality medical training and building expertise to improve the nation's healthcare delivery system. This is the position of the Vice Chancellor of Bayes University, Abuja, Professor Tahir Mamman, who revealed that the institution is on the verge of floating a world-class medical school. Kelvin has details.
The World Health Organization ranks Nigeria 187 out of 191 in its ranking of the world's health system, as the country continues to find ways of improving its healthcare delivery system to discourage medical tourism, which experts say gobs about $1 billion annually, with many Nigerians seeking treatment for ailments in key specialties like oncology, orthopedics, nephrology, and cardiology. Building local expertise and retaining them in these areas of medicine will go a long way in achieving the goal of tackling medical tourism in Nigeria, a factor that is now propelling the Board of Trustees of Bayes University to venture into establishing its School of Medical Sciences with a proposal to develop state-of-the-art teaching hospital to be the pride of Africa.
We are here in the heart of Abuja, so that's one of our major attractions. We are actually going to collaborate with some of the hospitals and their staff, consultants and all that who are with them. So for us, it's something that we just have to go into.
The university will unveil this initiative before its stakeholders in its forthcoming convocation on October 25th to seek partnership with the private sector.
This particular university is a pride to all of us.
Pride in a way that it is made and established to the best of standards, educationally, academically, and the environment is just as competitive as anywhere in the world.
Other innovation by the Base University Abuja is a strategic collaboration with state governments to sponsor indigent students and get full scholarship for equal number of students they sponsored in what the university calls one-for-one scholarship scheme. Base University Abuja was established in 2011 and it aims at providing university education to British standards at about half the cost of sending a student to study abroad. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
Nigeria's political and socio-economic development will be accelerated when citizens are motivated more by service to the people above selfish desires and primitive accumulation of wealth. These views were expressed by guests on NTA's current affairs program, Moment for Thought.
The lack of trust.
Moment for Thought comes up tonight at 11:30. Let's now go over to our Lagos Center where Dotun has more reports. Hello, Dotun.
Thank you, Cyril, and welcome to Lagos. The Federal High Court in Lagos has granted bail to Abdullahi Babalele, the son-in-law to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and his associate Uyekben Giwa Osage, with a sum of 20 million naira with one surety in like sum. Justice Nicholas Owebo gave the ruling after hearing the submission of the counsel on the bail applications. Abolere Ogbara has the report.
Justice Nicholas Owebo granted a bail application to Abdullahi Babalele, who was alleged of money laundering. While arguing for bail, the defense counsel, Mike Ozekome, SAN, informed the court that the defendant should be granted bail on self-recognizance or liberal terms. The defense counsel also told the court that he will always present the suspect for any further hearing. The EFCC counsel, Usman Buhari, on the other hand, told the court that there are facts before the commission while the suspect should not be granted bail. The EFCC counsel further stated that there are evidences of possibility of the defendant intimidating or interfering with witnesses if granted bail. Justice Owebo, however, said the defendant is entitled to bail as what he is accused of is a bailable offense. Justice Owebo remanded Abdullahi Babalele at the EFCC custody before the bail condition is perfected. The case has been adjourned till 8th of October for the commencement of trial. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Lagos has also released Uyekwe Giwa Osage and his brother, Ewuse Giwa Osage, to their counsel, pending the perfection of their bail conditions. The two are placed under the custody of their counsel, Ahmed Raji SAN, for 14 days, and if bail condition is not met, they will be remanded in the prison. The trial will begin on the 8th of October this year. In Lagos, Abolore Ogbara, NT News.
Agencies at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos are employing technology to promptly detect passengers with likely symptoms of Ebola. Michael Olaleye reports.
This is the international wing of the Murtala Mohammed Airport, a strategic entry and exit point for travelers traversing the nooks and crannies of the country. An average of 60,000 travelers with diverse health conditions pass through this airport on a weekly basis. To forestall the repeat of the 2014 scenario, when Ebola made its way into the country, Port Health Services have installed this thermal camera to monitor the temperature of incoming passengers. This innovation is an advanced technology from the infrared scanner and the thermometer. This is because, aside screening passengers while they walk through, it enables both the passengers and health workers to monitor the temperature at the same time.
With technology, you can do more. So what I've seen technology and it's playing its effect, and people, you guys are seeing, you're dictating people that are not okay and people that are fine.
That makes a lot of sense, and I'm happy that we are proactive.
It's a very good thing to have it intermittently. So at least you catch somebody. If you don't catch him on the first monitor, you catch him on the second, or the last one should be the third one.
Since the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority issued Ebola alerts to airlines, airport authorities and port health services have been strengthening surveillance strategy to prevent another Patrick Sawyer from entering the country. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reiterated the commitment of his administration to strengthen partnership with the United States to tap the state's potential to enhance economic growth and development of the people. The governor made this known at a courtesy visit by the United States Consul General in Lagos, Claire Pierre Angelo, at the State Government House in Alausa. Nosa Ursula reports.
The governor expressed readiness to partner with the United States of America in scaling up and developing critical sectors of the state's economy.
This is a center of excellence. It used to be the real capital city of Nigeria about 2-3 decades ago. And so we still have a whole lot of the challenges of any other capital city. We still have it, but more importantly, it's also the economic hub for the country.
The primary objective of a visit to Governor Sanwo-Olu is to plan ways of partnering with the state governments and the people of Nigeria in areas such as education, health and economy.
Whether our PEPFAR program, our CDC programs, we have security cooperation. It really goes across the board. The depth of our cooperation in Nigeria is really quite deep, and much of that we do in Lagos State.
The visit is the first since Governor Sanwo-Olu's assumption of office. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports after this commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Now me I come ask and say, why all of us go pay 100,000 naira? Say your husband, he want do 70th birthday. She now all of us marry them together. When her mama die, she collects money. Her papa die, she collects money. Her mama die, she collects. You remember when she talked, say she wanted her mama dead body. Mama, you too talk. Now you be glad when they dash me credit anyhow. Imagine, 40-year-old dead body. Why you they laugh now? Now try to bring your money. Mama, no laugh. Not be you, Jare. Now some apropos customer there when they know they mind their own business. Well, I never even begin to give you her gist.
Glow and Maple. Get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555*PIN#.
Make her sell my market finish first, eh? I will call you back. Oh.
Glow Unlimited.
Here is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent. But now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel. Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy.
Daddy, when I had malaria in school, they gave me Amatem Soft Gel. It's soft and easy to swallow.
Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
The opponent is down only in round 1.
Ayua, Amatem for Soft Gel are good to combat malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
Yeah, Mom. You are extraordinary. You always go the extra mile to make sure my breakfast is made with extra nutritious Milo. I want to say a big thank you. You are extra precious and extra super.
Milo is thanking moms for being extraordinary by giving the family an extra 50 grams of delicious Milo for every 500-gram pouch bought. Don't miss out. Offer valid while stocks last.
All right, we're back in Abuja now, and trades on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange closes on a negative note after the day's session. Comfort Amodu is here to tell us more on this and other financial stories. Comfort, tell us about it.
Well, stocks didn't do well today, but we hope they do better the following day. Now, tomato farmers have reiterated their plea to government to identify new ways to boost tomato production across the country, especially in local government areas that have the potential for commercial production. Farmers are requesting prompt access to credit, availability of fertilizer, training of tomato farmers, provision of improved seeds and irrigation facilities during dry season, as well as interventions that will enhance commercial production of the crop.
Produce, you can harvest and keep in a better condition, and it will last for good 30 days. The proper tomato without decomposing.
I started cultivating from my backyard down to the farm now. After the first harvest and the second harvest, we were able to get up to 5 million naira.
And now, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has directed taxpayers to commence deduction and remittance of outstanding withholding tax and value-added tax on the compensation, distribution, dealers and agents at SUS. The agency issued a public notice to companies that haven't been complying with the directive with the provision of the company's income tax regulations. Now, in the capital market, it was a bearish day for investors as trades dipped by minus 0.11%, resulting to a loss of 14.71 billion naira. Stocks depreciated as well by minus 0.7% to close at 27,052.93 points, as against minus 0.82% reduction recorded previously, with its year-to-date returns at minus 13.93%. Well, Cyril, those are the stories trending in the financial sector.
All right, things may well look up on the next trading day. You never know.
Very well.
Right. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mele Kyari, has tasked members of the Pipelines Professionals Association of Nigeria plan to come up with appropriate technology to stem the current challenges associated with oil and gas pipelines vandalism. Mele Kyari, who noted security and integrity of pipelines as a major challenge in the industry, urged the executive members of PLAN and other Nigerians to collaborate to arrest the situation. The GMD emphasized collaborative initiatives with the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board towards optimizing participation by Nigerians in pipeline construction for more value addition.
As countrymen, I'm sure this is a professional body comprised of mostly Nigerians. We may not exclude foreigners, but we do have a challenge that we need to work together to overcome this challenge.
You want everything to work, and that to us is music to our ears. That's what we want to hear. And we realize that pipelines, if you're talking about refinery, gas, upstream, pipeline is the artery. They are the critical artery. You just sever it.
Director General and Chief Executive Officer, Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission, Chidi Zua, believes that infusing private capital in the pipeline infrastructure through public-private partnership is the way to go in driving investments in the pipeline subsector. Time now to go over to Sokoto and link up with Musa, who has more stories. Musa.
Hello, welcome to Sokoto. As part of its effort to boost the agricultural sector, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture Pest Control Office Sokoto has flagged off aerial spray against quilla birds. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports.
The challenge of quilla birds invasion is part of the major threats to agriculture in most parts of northern Nigeria, especially in Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara states. The Zonal Pest Control Office identified 15 huge permanent and temporary roosting and nesting sites of these birds in Wurnu, Goranyo, Gwadabawa, Tangaza and Shagari local government areas of Sokoto state. To tackle the menace, Pest Control Office flagged off aerial spray of these areas to complement the effort of the federal government towards boosting agricultural production.
We operate in the evening. That is around 5 to 6.
Then in the morning, so by 7 we leave, the pilot will reach the target area, destroy them and come back.
The state agricultural sector has plans on how best to improve the sector towards ensuring a bumper harvest. Fighting quilla birds is a means of improving the agricultural output and also a source of income generation for the state. In Sokoto, Abraman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Provision of storage facilities and prioritizing product processing remains a viable option in enhancing production and marketing of onions in the country. These were some of the suggestions of onion farmers in Sokoto to address post-harvest losses. The report.
At first sight, you wonder why this starch is kept in this farm. Ali Mustafa, an onion farmer, explains that it is the traditional way of storing and preserving onions.
I bring onion, 2 bags or 3 bags, so that I keep it, then I'll cover it with the grass.
Sokoto State is said to be one of the major producers of onions in the country, with over 1.5 million metric tons produced every year. But the quantity should have been more, if not for poor storage facilities, which often lead to post-harvest losses.
If we keep 10 bags, maybe we lose 2 bags or 3 bags. People, they farm onions plenty. But how to storage that onions, that be problem number one.
Another source of concern is the absence of value addition, which will have reduced losses.
How we will take these onions to other country? Because now people, they are coming from Ghana, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire. They are coming. Make government come into this our business, because this our business is not a small business.
With government poised to generate more revenue, a deliberate investment towards value addition is believed will pave the way towards diversification of the economy.
That's our contribution from Sokoto. The news continues with Cyril in Abuja.
Thank you, Musa. Residents of Ondo State have been urged to participate actively in the ongoing registration for National Identity Number Cards. Director General, National Identity Management Commission, Aliyu Aziz, said this during the presentation of the name Smart Card to the State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. Wasiu Rauf reports.
I hereby present your card to you formally. Congratulations, Senator.
Presenting the smart card, the Director General, who was represented, explained that the National Identity Card is in compliance with global best practices, saying the card cannot be cloned and can be used for many purposes.
Your national identification number, which is the name, is also safely embedded in the chip. This will definitely act as a tool against terrorism, against criminality, and against identity theft in Nigeria.
In his remarks, the State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, commended the agency for its proactiveness towards the success of the project.
I believe that if we can make it local government secretariats as our centers, you will see that many people will go there.
The Director General had highly called on other Nigerians who are yet to register for the National Identification Number to do so. In Akure, Wasiu of NT News.
And let's go over to Enugu and link up with Bright.
Cyril, and welcome to Enugu. In his commitment to ensure a flood-free Imo State, Governor Emeka Ihedioha has assured of his commitment for the provision of adequate facilities to enhance the duties of the task team on erosion and flood control. Governor Ihedioha gave the assurance when he received the report from the flood and erosion control professionals at the Government House, Owerri. Loretta Rizegwim reports.
Governor Ihedioha decried that flooding traverses almost the entire landscape of Owerri, a challenge he noted that requires significant expertise, exchange of ideas, and interchange of suggestions. He challenged the environmental experts to work as a team towards getting recommendations on how to tackle the menace of flooding in the state capital city, describing their impulse as crucial.
And we would like to see solutions as to how to deal with it. I'm prepared for us to come back next week, have a date, to review your discussions, to enable us to take an appropriate position, and I bet you'll be informed.
The former Imo State Governor, Chief Ikedion Hakim, commended the governor for seeking professional ideas in dealing with flooding issues. He noted that Owerri City was designed with 62 manholes by its original designers, while 27 out of them is in very important areas. These manholes, he noted, are meant to be deseated periodically. Other environmental experts promised to partner with the state government in the management and control of the environment. They stressed the need for a holistic review of Owerri Master Plan, while Owerri Capital Development Authority, OCDA, should do the needful in protecting the environment. In another development, Governor Ihedioha also signed into law the Imo State Universal Basic Education Bill. In Owerri, Lorita Arinze-Egwim, NTN News.
And back in Abuja, sports is